Hi guys and welcome back to SwitchUp. If you missed the first part of this video, this is actually part 2 because this sale is so good, and many of you in the comments suggested that perhaps there were a few absolutely classic games that weren't included in our previous list, and you're right, there's loads. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and notifications are on. I've got about 40 copies of Robonauts still left over from a giveaway we did about a month ago, and what I'm going to do is just drop those randomly in reply to some of your comments. So make sure that you have everything switched on. With that being said, let's get into the list. The first two titles on my list that should be purchased straight away, and they should be bought together, are Bastion and Transistor from Supergiant Games. Now, not only does this have some of the best narration that I've heard in any game at all, and interestingly the narrator, it was his first ever voice acting job, but the artwork is absolutely sublime. In Bastion, you're trying to discover the secrets of the Calamity. There's action-packed combat here, over 10 unique and upgradable weapons to be used, 6 powerful Bastion structures to be discovered, and what we always like to see, and we can see it here, is there's a new Game Plus mode as well as a score attack one once you've finished the main story. Don't be fooled by the incredibly low price that it is on sale. This is a must-buy game, and if you're not convinced, check out our review. A link will be down in the description. Alongside it, obviously, we have Transistor, which was the sequel of sorts. This has a sci-fi theme and has a very interesting strategic combat whereby you can pause time for a bit and plan out certain moves and move your character around freely before then beginning time again and seeing the ensuing carnage. This one has a great soundtrack, and within the opening few moments you'll realise the type of quality that you've just managed to pick up for next to nothing on sale. Sonic Mania is our next pick on the list, and again, this is another title whereby someone thought, do you know what? The way that the last Sonic ended wasn't quite good enough for me. I want that Sonic 4 that should have been. And the guy that created it took his time and made it really a spiritual successor. This really is Sonic 4, just in another name. Sonic Mania is currently 33% off. There are a few small tweaked mechanics in here as well, and a couple of stages that do some new things. But overall, the aesthetic is exactly what we remember. The pacing is on point, and it's just a whole lot of fun. A friend can join you as Tails, as you obviously speed off into the distance, then they have to just respawn, but it's nice having it here. Another thing to note is that it's running at a fluid 60 frames per second at all times, and this is one of those timeless games that you should definitely have on your Switch. The next game from Glenn, and one of my absolute favourites on Switch, is the excellent Thimbleweed Park, which is currently a whopping 50% off until the 13th, which is a point-and-click adventure done in the old Monkey Island style. You've got the open, push, pull, pick-up commands on the bottom left of the screen, and your inventory on the bottom right. It's a very funny and quirky tale, this one, where you play two agents that are essentially Mulder and Scully by a different name. Created from the likes of Ron Gilbert and Gary Winnick, hopefully of games you definitely know the name of, Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion, it's a neo-noir mystery set in 1987. There are 5 playable characters who can work together, and it's nice to see that there's a casual and hard mode. Again, if you're a fan of classic adventure games, you'll remember those from the LucasArts titles. I remember playing through Monkey Island 2 the second time round, and I just couldn't understand why I couldn't complete it, and it's because I was actually playing on easy the first time around. This is a very good game, and you should definitely pick it up. One real classic set of games that's not going to really need much introduction is the Castlevania Collection. Now, some felt that at launch this was perhaps a touch on the pricier side, and whether you agree with that or not, the game is now 30% off. It really is a brilliant collection of titles that puts even modern games to shame in terms of the level design and the sheer quality of each title. You're getting 9 games in this pack for about £11, so what's that, just over £1 a title? Absolute bargain. Next up, we've got Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, the remaster. Now, this French studio did such a good job with this one. I loved the new visuals and having that quick toggle between the new and the old. Wow, I mean, this is exactly how it should be done in my opinion. Although the core gameplay is quite simplistic, the nice shifting mechanic between the players, so for example when you become Mouse Man you can walk up all the walls, or Lizard Man who can breathe underwater, was just a great thing at the time, and it works just as well now. It's currently 50% off on the eShop, and again, while it's not the longest title ever, the iconic music, wonderful retro and remastered visuals, and unique world are something that every gamer should experience. The next game is one called Wandersong. Now this is currently 40% off on the eShop, and it's a title that I would say was a touch overlooked by many, and I'm not going to lie, it was overlooked by me as well. It's a musical adventure where you use singing to save the world, and you play as a silly bard who embarks on a globe-trotting journey to learn about the mysterious Earth Song. No, not that Earth Song. It's said to prevent the universe's imminent end, and it's up to you to sing your songs, unlock the world's secrets, and make new friends. It's one of those titles, a little bit like Pikuniku, where it's very charming, and you don't think from the visuals, I'm going to enjoy that game, and then you start playing it and you're like, oh my goodness, this is another incredible title. Well worth picking up, as it's currently 40% off until the 13th. Spin Tyre's Mud Runners became a bit of an obsession of mine. I spent so long just going through the woods in these realistic vehicles and taking logs from one place to another. I know it doesn't sound fun, but I can't really explain it. This game pits you in more than 30 all-terrain vehicles with brands that you'll all know, Ford, Hummer and Chevrolet, and then you have over 60 add-ons to put onto them, and you complete objectives and deliveries across around 10 different sandbox maps. What I loved about this is you can then go online, and as strange again as it sounds, doing this stuff with random people online is incredibly fun. The visuals are some of the best I've ever seen on any console, regardless of it being the Nintendo Switch, and those mud physics and the way that you have to use your tow bar to sometimes save yourself from tricky situations is very well done indeed. This is a bit off the wall, but I would say if you're slightly intrigued, go and check out our review of this one, and the link will be down in the description, but this sale also ends on the 13th. Time Spinner is a game that Glenn reviewed, and again, another one of those Metroidvanias that got a little bit overlooked. You travel back in time to change fate itself, and it has an intricate and connected world with beautifully drawn and detailed pixel art. You can traverse between the current present dimension and the luscious past of Lakiem, befriending mysterious creatures called familiars and train them up to aid you in battle. Again, this is another title that we've reviewed on the channel, so if you want to go out and check that, then the link will be down in the description. At 20% off though, it might be worth having a look.
I will use this power to change history, no matter what the cost. The Empire has taken everything I love. I will destroy them all.
The next title is a game called Annodyne. Now this is a throwback really to old school top-down RPGs, and there was something about this game, I couldn't quite put my finger on it in the review. It almost has like a melancholy atmosphere to it, but there's a quirkiness there as well. Picture something like, I don't know, Donnie Darko, and you'll have a good idea of the type of mood this one conveys. I like the visuals here. They're a slight shift from what you'd expect in something like Zelda, particularly in the colour palette. But the core gameplay, although a touch simple, is decent and it has a familiarity about it. Check out my review, the link's down in the description. But for the price this currently is, I think it's less than £1. It's an absolutely essential game. There is a sequel that hasn't yet been released on the Nintendo Switch, but that one takes on a PSX style RPG look. Think something like Final Fantasy VII and you'll have a good idea, and hopefully we see that one come to the Switch as well. Really good games and well worth checking out. I'll round off this week's sales list then with what seems like a bit of a meme, but it's going to have to be Celeste. It's 40% off until the 13th, and it's one of those games which, although it has quite a heavy storyline to do with mental health and the struggles that can entail, the game is fantastic, irrespective of everything that's gone into making it more than just the core gameplay. That core experience is so tight. The control of Celeste as you ascend the mountain is perfect, and yes, there'll be times where some slight frustration sets in because this gets brutally difficult. There's so much on offer here, and for about £10, you're getting over 700 screens of platforming, 2 hours of original music, as well as the brutal B-side chapters to unlock. There's so much. I'm sorry, it has to be done. So last on my list, if you don't own it yet, go out and buy it. If there's 10 games every Nintendo Switch owner should have, this is in there alongside Hollow Knight and Dead Cells. Let me know down in the comments which games you've picked up. Remember to keep your notifications and all that funky stuff switched on. I fancy popping a few free games out this week, so keep an eye. If you see a reply from me, it might say something like email and then give an email address for you to send, just so that we can verify so no one steals your code. But yeah, let's get you a free copy of Robonauts if we can. As always, a big thank you to our patrons who support the channel each and every month. It means the world to us. I think we're at 96 now. If you want to join them, you can do so from as little as $1 a month, and we do give away our free patron game every month, which we're going to be announcing in the next day or so. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch Up.